right, boys and girls, welcome. I came up with the song right before we started recording. It's going to be a hit and goes like this. Up your butthole, Aiden. Up your butthole, Aiden. Up your butthole, Aiden. Up your butthole.
Welcome to Just Janky. Welcome to Just Janky. Welcome to Just Janky.
Hello and welcome to Just Janky, episode 6, 5, 7.
Something.
I don't know.
We'll check.
Something.
Welcome back. We were off last week. We'll get into that a little bit later, but welcome back to Just Janky, the podcast where we take ourselves not so seriously, but we also talk about serious things, you know? It's going to be a little different every time. We're excited. Glad you're joining us here. How you guys doing?
Were you asking the audience?
No, you.
Oh, okay. It's like it's Blue's Clues.
Yeah. How you doing?
How are you
How you
today?
doing? Good. Dora the Explorer.
Fake responses.
Dora the Explorer always cracked me up because they would leave a little pause for you to respond.
Exactly. It's like, hey,
Hi.
how you doing?
Doing
I
well.
never
How about
talked-
you?
I never talked back to the characters ever.
Oh, you
I
always
always
gotta
thought that was-
talk back to the characters.
I never did for some reason.
You're wrong.
Wait, did we do our intro?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
was
already
the
did it.
intro. Oh my
Brother.
gosh.
Okay.
You sang your terrible song, and then
It's a
tried
good
to-
song. It's gonna be a hit. It's gonna be a banger. Capitol Records is already hitting me up. So
Oh, they're already blowing up your phone right now.
yeah, dude, right now.
So I'm doing well to answer Aiden's question.
Yeah,
I
thank
just
you.
graduated. Here's my stole.
Woo!
It was a weekend of many virtual celebrations, and somebody is knocking on my door. So somebody else go.
Um.
Go, John.
Aiden,
Go, go.
Okay. You asked the question, so I was gonna go next. I'm doing okay. Quarantine's, not my favorite, and it's everything's getting monotonous. But things like this give me joy and give me life. So we're figuring out ways as the boys to play video games. Like we played with the Echoes on, was that Saturday night? Friday night?
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that felt good. Yeah, man, just trying to get through this, trying to survive.
Good. Mark, continue your story.
Yeah, sorry. His sister was coming in for some reason. I don't know.
It's okay.
Sorry, Stephanie. So, yeah, it was strange, I will say. And that's kind of as far as I've processed currently. I probably knew this was coming about 2 months ago, and me and my therapist were kind of processing what it would mean. Today's was probably the most meaningful. They were kind of like events that kind of got increasingly more meaningful. The first event was, 3,500 graduates, and that was just the commencement thing. And then we did the little like move your tassel because you graduated. And then second was like 30 people who were all a part of this program that I went with, and that was meaningful because I went with a group of 9 other students to my university, Tulane, together, and it was a really cool experience. We acted as a support system for each other. We actually trained for a year leading up to going to New Orleans, so that we knew how to support each other well. And today we had a graduation ceremony, celebrating that together. So that was the most meaningful. Still
cool.
Strange because I think there's a lot of buildup over the entire college experience for this moment of culmination. And to not be able to do that in person is strange, but I think it'll also be interesting because I think that there are 2 stark groups with like the COVID experience. There's the people where we just quarantined, we didn't get sick, but like we experienced it. And then there are people who like actually went out in the world and were essential workers and they were interacting with sick people or they got sick themselves. And like, I think it'll be really interesting to see where we go from here, where it's like, we lived through the quarantine, but we didn't like experience COVID, So I think that
Sure.
like anytime I come to a situation like this where it's like, oh, my graduation was online, it was virtual. How do I feel about that? It's like, I can't help but be grateful that my family's safe.
Yeah.
And, we're in a really blessed position where we still like have a house over our heads and we have groceries and that kind of thing. So
It's a good perspective.
But yes, sorry, that got really serious real fast.
No,
I mean, hey, it's good.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah.
Aiden, how are you doing?
Doing pretty well. Yeah. Finished the main series of Avatar with Gabrielle, my wife, which is great. Been working a lot on my Animal Crossing island, which is so much fun, so peaceful.
God, I hate
what
on
else?
it, but I know I need to get it. I need to get it.
Just change your life, man. I went out for a nice walk today. It's raining, surprisingly, even though it was like 92 weeks ago. I just can't understand LA. Yeah, life's been, all things considered, pretty good. Oh, actually, I got out of my comfort zone and did something. John, I wanna chat with you about this because I made
A video.
For Student Ministries Weekend coming up. It was one of the most stressful experiences of my entire life.
What did you use?
I used iMovie because that's
If you say After Effects,
I did not. I use iMovie.
Meeting.
I use iMovie because that's all
better.
I have. That's all I had. So I had to do this video to kind of summarize different experiences of our students and leaders in this time, and I just turned it in just before we started this meeting. So
proud of you, bro.
It's only 3
Sorry,
At
minutes.
least you're not. At least you're not
completely.
At least you're not completely stupid and using After Effects to edit something.
What? Tell me why After Effects is bad.
After Effects is great, but it's like you're using the wrong tool to do the wrong thing. Using After Effects to edit a video is like using a tattoo gun to write on paper.
Okay.
Tattoos guns are great. They do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not
It's not what you use to.
And so I have this friend who is just really bad at editing and doesn't know anything about it, and they're just a monkey man, and they said they decided to use After Effects to edit a video.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, don't do that because that's stupid.
Mm-hmm. Given the name, I would assume that you use it for the after part of the video.
Okay,
right?
you know what, Aiden?
To like touch up the video.
Shut your trap. You go shut your mouth.
Yeah.
That person was Mark Schaub, just for the record.
I figured I picked that up along the way. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this sounds
I have
personal.
another comparison. It's as if you're using like a box opener to cut down a tree. Like it's just not the tool that you're supposed to use.
After Effects is so powerful for what it does, though. It's not like it's wimpy. Like you can do like full on like VFX graphics, like put something in.
Yeah, but when you use it wrong, it's useless. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's true. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
That's true. That's good.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Yeah. No. So I now use Premiere.
Okay.
And it is a game changer. When I first opened Premiere, I was like, oh, okay, so this is what I was supposed to be doing this whole time. Yep.
I like it.
Fair enough. So somebody want to segue from my comment about using a box opener to cut down a tree?
Oh.
I set you up. Really, Aiden? We cut down a tree?
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I mean, let's be real.
It feels so good. Usually I'm the one that forgets everything.
Oh,
boomer brain over here. We literally talked about it right before.
Yeah, we said we were going to talk about it.
And then all thoughts just went out the window. I was like, I don't know. I should close my window. It's open right now. Anyway, so talk about it, John. We cut down a tree.
Why did we not record last Monday?
Yeah, that's a better way to segue.
Yeah, okay. We had a friend who needed help cutting down a tree, and so they had the boys come through. So it was me, Mark, Aiden, JoJo.
We talked about him last episode.
We did talk about him last episode. It was all four of us that were plus another guy who was like a professional. He was professional with the chainsaw thing. Yeah, and so we went over to this guy's house, and we were just picking up wood and cutting wood and playing with wood, and yeah, You know how
Yeah.
boys do. Boys just
we
like
were
playing with wood.
throwing
so.
wood at each other.
Yeah. Yeah, we were helping each other with different pieces of
Yeah,
wood.
we were lifting up wood together.
Yeah.
We were putting we were putting each other in wheelbarrows and
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm gonna.
Go.
You should give me some of that footage, John. I'm gonna put it into the podcast.
We have
Oh,
footage?
okay, yeah. Okay.
Well,
Yeah, I
John
just
took a
recorded
video
some
of
it.
like us
Oh, cool.
wheelbarrowing.
All right.
Yeah.
None of the actual work we did.
Not
Nice.
the yeah.
How did you
But
boys
yeah, it
feel
was fun
after it?
because
It was
that was
so
the first
hard.
time. It was hard. I was tired. I had to leave the earliest because my body was just not. I am not physically fit to do that right now. But it was really nice to see the boys for the first time in like months. Like I haven't
Yeah,
physically seen
seriously.
you guys in like forever.
It's like 6 or 7 weeks probably, right?
I think it was 7 weeks. Yeah.
Sheesh. That's crazy.
Well,
And it
no,
still
because
feels
I
long.
came from New Orleans, so it was even longer.
we did see
Oh,
you that
right.
one time we ran at the Rose Bowl right before like everything
Oh, yeah,
locked
no, you're
down
right, you're right,
officially.
you're
But
Right.
But
That
yeah.
was the last time I think we all physically saw each other.
Yeah, and we still didn't touch each other or like hug each other or anything.
Yeah, we
'cause-
held 6 feet.
Yeah.
John didn't like
Craziness.
that.
John. It's okay, John. We still love you. We'll give you love.
One of these days, man.
John's like
can.
physical touch to a like I'm physical touch, but like John's physical touch even more so. So like,
Dude, my two top. Okay, this is going down like a different kind of tangent, but my two top like love languages are quality touch, quality time, and physical
quality
touch. I almost said
touch.
quality touch.
Damn,
I
John,
mean, you want it to be quality touch.
It's like when Mark called earthbending ground.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna hit you with some ground power, dude.
To be fair, the best kind of physical touch is like high quality. So like quality touch makes sense, you know, in a sense. Right, John?
Yeah, he's gone.
John?
You guys hurted my feelings.
I got my feelings hurted.
Your feelings hurt.
Come back.
I deserve quality touch.
You do.
You
That's
do.
what I'm saying.
You do.
I just thought it was a funny
but-
statement.
I did too. Anyways, quality time and physical touch are my two top love languages, and I get
Uh-huh.
none of that during all this. So yeah,
Yeah.
I miss it. I miss just the little things, like a hug from people or going to church, and Sean Strovis and his hugs. I miss those crap
Some good
ton,
hugs.
dude.
Some good hugs.
Yep.
Yeah. So Mark asked a question. How did you guys feel about or after the lugging?
Talk
Because
to
like
us.
to break it down a little bit, there was a big ash tree fallen in the yard, crushed a car, and dude was chopping it up with a chainsaw, and we had to move a lot of the branches first. So we got all cut up first, which was the hardest part for me. We got cut up, and then we had to lift big ass logs, just like massive logs. They were so heavy.
Put a weight estimate on it, Aiden.
I'd say like a good 50 pounds for some of the bigger ones.
Yep.
Which were the ones we had to put in the wheelbarrows. Maybe a little less, maybe like 35, 40. But in anywhere between like 25 to 50 could be the range depending on the size of the trunk. And so
we got that
had to
booty popping.
got that booty popping. Yeah.
John looks so out. He was just like
he looked psychotic. He was like
I was staring out the window because it's like raining, and I'm like, wow, this is so nice. I feel like
eyeballs over here, brother.
I feel
Just
like
kidding.
one of those lo-fi hip hop beat live streams.
Oh,
like,
true.
In my
but
car,
those are fire,
I'm like an
dude.
anime boy. Like,
but yes, it was intense workout. I've been complaining that I haven't been able to like lift during quarantine, and I got lots.
you got
of
your
that.
whole lift in. Just days of it. Got days of it in.
Days and days of it.
Yeah. Solid.
How's your body feeling nowadays? We're
Great.
good?
Yeah, I feel great. I
No
went for
injuries?
a run the day after, and yeah, I felt great. So it was like mostly forearms, interestingly enough. Like
I couldn't like lift things up afterwards. I was
crazy.
like,
because I especially when we were doing the wheelbarrow, we had to go down a hill and then up a hill to we were bringing it from the front yard to the backyard, and we had to go the long way because the tree was obstructing everything. And so I had to stabilize the wheelbarrow with your forearms more than anything. And so that was one of those ones where it's like, oh, I did not know that my forearms would be this sore. But I feel great afterwards.
I loved it. I love that kind of thing. JoJo especially. I mean, that was JoJo's environment. JoJo was like thriving in lifting heavy things.
It's true.
I had fun.
So I actually see two pivots.
Okay.
We could talk about Avatar, Earthbending, or we were actually doing love languages there. So we could talk about love languages.
Yeah, I want to talk about
Whoa.
love languages. That sounds
Want to
fun.
do that? All right, let's do that.
Okay.
John, you already admitted yours.
I know, but it's like it feels like such a sad boy topic right now.
Well, focus on times when it was your love language was really met. Do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So-
love languages
I'll
don't
focus
apply.
on how good my family is at meeting my love.
There we go.
What I was
Great.
going to say is love languages don't only pertain to like intimate relationships. They do
Oh no, I fully agree. I
physical
fully agree.
relationships, you know.
I haven't been able to see my like physical family like as often
Yeah, I see
or
what you're saying.
for a long time too. So it's in
Still,
all
yeah,
parts.
regardless.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so go ahead.
Go ahead.
Who
Take it
wants
away,
to start? Me?
Yeah,
Take
Mark,
it
you
away.
start. What are your top two?
So top one is
Top
physical
one.
touch.
Okay.
Top one is physical touch. Second
It's so
is
weird because you don't like it when we touch you at all.
No, we don't. You don't like it at all. Well, okay, let's be honest. The way we did
Nope.
what Aiden's
No.
talking about.
No. Let's
Well,
rewind. Let's rewind.
We're
I'm gonna set
usually
the
trying to
record
pinch-
straight. I'm gonna set the record straight on this
Okay,
one.
okay,
Please
I'll
do.
say it for you. I'll say it for you. Like 70% of the time we try to touch Marcus because we're trying to pinch his ass or like do the 10,000 years of death thing up his butt
Yeah.
like that. So
Which,
kinda
speaking of which,
like-
I had a wheelbarrow full of like 150 pounds of log, and then one of them came from my butt, and I almost drove the wheelbarrow into John's car. So I would have taken no
Yeah,
blame
that's
for that
true.
experience.
Uh,
But I give you like a little squeal and be like,
it's so
Get
funny.
away
We
from
do
me!
it often because Mark was standing on top. We had like this truck and we loaded it with all the like leaves and branches and stuff. And it was like
Yeah.
a big mound. And so Mark
Yeah.
had to get on top so he could dump more stuff in it.
Yep.
And as he's up there, he's like facing a different direction. I grab a broom and I just stick it up and I like try to get it up his shorts and he like flips and falls on top of everything.
we had a lot of fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
So love languages. I said, I almost said quality touch too, dude. What the heck? Quality time's not even one of them. So love languages, physical touch, and then words of affirmation is my second one. But it is pretty like a 1-2 type of deal. But it's really fun.
What do you
So
mean by a 1-2 type of deal?
like you said, top two are equal. Like mine is definitely physical touch, then words of affirmation. I mean, so like physical touch, I don't know. I'm super touchy feely. Even like physical intimacy is important to me. So I don't know. The distance game was just that much more difficult for me. Because there are times where it's just like, I just want to hug these fools. What the heck? Or like with Taylor, my fiance, hugging, huge. The funny part, we'll start with a funny story and then we'll circle back around because my mind is blank, but I'm just stalling for time and I'm going to just kick it off to you two. But Taylor's lowest is physical touch. And so we have been working our entire relationship to navigate that because for me, I'm like, I just want to like give you all the hugs and kisses and that kind of thing. And she's like, you're suffocating me, which completely valid. If it's your lowest thing and you just want to like hang out with me, but I just want to cuddle all the time, like doesn't work, you know? So it's been really important for us to figure out how to navigate that and find balance within that because like it's really important that we also go out on dates and do fun things together because Taylor wants to do meaningful things and not just like sit on a couch and watch a show and me be like on her shoulder all time, you know?
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents right now. I'm going to keep thinking about it. Keep going.
Here's a question.
Aiden, your turn.
I'll
Wait,
segue this into my love languages, but I'm curious, has that changed at all over your relationship
Oh,
for either of
completely.
you?
Completely. So Taylor was not, it was like 0. So like originally it was like very, very little. And then over time, she's become way more open to it. But, you know, it's like, I mean, like, how much do I like you guys pinching my butt? 0. But, like, I've gotten used to it, you know? So, like, as with all things, like, she recognized that I needed to be met in that. And it's actually something that we're doing we're doing a lot of processing right now of, like, how do we, like, because in marriage, it's going to be totally back and forth, and we're going to need to find balance in that. And so it's something that I really appreciate that we're talking seriously about right now, not just like, oh, we'll figure it out, but like, okay, what do we do when we need to connect? And Mark really wants to connect just by cuddling or that kind of thing. But Taylor actually wants to have a really meaningful conversation or watch a show or do something besides just like being, you know? Like she wants to actually do something, and I just want to be like, I just want to be next to you.
So, Aiden, how does that segue into yours? Have yours changed up to this point?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say is when I took the test in high school, and I'm 4 years out of high school now. No, I'm 5 years out of high school.
Back when there were dinosaurs?
Back when there were dinosaurs. I actually took classes on the Ark. Come on, that was funny.
That was such an old man joke. Come on, man.
I know.
You're such a dad, dude.
Okay, listen.
Okay, Grandma.
Sorry to our listeners.
Sheesh. Anyway, so primary love language in high school is physical touch. And I felt great about that. And then I think it was quality time and gifts was like the lowest. Gifts, I know for a fact gifts was the lowest. So that stayed the same. Gifts are still the lowest for me. And I also like thinking about the giving receiving love language, because like you can have a favorite, or your highest love language to receive is one, but also your highest love language to give is another. And so for me, both of those fall for gifts. I don't like receiving gifts, and I'm not good at giving gifts. At least that's how I feel. But for the physical touch, it was my primary, and then over time I've noticed that it's gone down, it's decreased. And I don't know why that is, because like with and the interesting thing is with my wife, her least favorite in high school was physical touch. She like didn't want anybody to touch her or anything like that. Like very, very to herself in that area. But in our relationship, not across the board, but in our relationship, that's changed for her, where physical touch is one of her higher love languages. And that's interesting, because I think based on relationships, your physical or your love languages can change as well. Like I'm not going to have the same love language with you guys that I'm going to have with my wife or with my parents or with in-laws, you know, something like that. It's all going to be different things. And so I think that's the interesting world that I'm in right now, of learning how my love languages apply to different relationships and seeing the decrease and the increase of different one. I think right now I'm definitely at quality time. But even that looks different for me and my different relationships. Like quality time with you guys is different than what it is with Gabrielle, or even I need quality time with myself. That's a big thing. Like sometimes I just need to be alone and just process through things, you know? And so I don't know. I think it's such a fascinating thing to analyze about yourself or about others. And again, always being open to change and not being afraid of that and leaning into it is really important for me. So yeah.
I think Mark brought something up that makes me kind of curious about how you guys feel about this. I think my lowest is also, so the 5 are, it's quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, and gifts.
Yeah.
I think my lowest is definitely gifts. And I'm trying to think about how Mark was saying that, you know, Taylor's lowest is physical touch, and she feels smothered sometimes. I'm trying to think about what it would look like for me to receive too much of my lowest love language and how I would react to that. You know, just like to try and put myself in her shoes. I don't know. I don't know if I could ever really feel like I don't, gifts don't mean very much to me, and I don't necessarily like getting them, but I don't know if I could ever see myself like, okay, can you stop getting me stuff? Like,
sure.
I don't know if I'd ever feel smothered with my lowest.
I can give you
love
an
language.
example.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah,
can
I'm
also.
curious.
I think Aiden is going the same place I am. but
Probably.
you go,
You
Aiden.
want to go? You can go, Mark.
No. You go.
Okay. So for me, this is the primary reason that I haven't had a birthday party since I was like 11. I hate getting gifts and a lot of gifts as well. This is also why I'm not the biggest fan of Christmas, because I just feel such an overwhelming sense of like pressure to respond in the perfect way, to 100% love the gift that I get. And it causes like anxiety where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have to respond the perfect way. I have to do all of these things. So that in my mind is being smothered by my least favorite love language, where I'm just like,
Right.
But my wife, this is actually the hard part. That's one of her primary love languages across the board. So she loves getting me gifts, and I'm just like,
Is it
Yeah.
also for receiving, Aiden, as well, or is it just
I
giving?
think so. I think it's are you talking about me or her? Sorry.
For her.
Both giving and receiving. Although in our relationship, I think physical touch would butt its head in there a little bit, but it depends on the day, you know? And so that for me is definitely being smothered. So I don't enjoy getting a lot of gifts or birthday parties or anything that would put me in that awkward position.
It's I in a similar way. It's one of the ways I think where one of my biggest weaknesses is covered by Taylor, which I think is like, oh, thanks so much,
way to look at
because
it.
she is so good at giving meaningful gifts, so good at it. And so, I mean, this is like a little moment of honesty and definitely recognizing like weakness in Mark is like she'll give gifts, and we will now start to say like Mark and Taylor, and I am totally marrying up in that regard. I mean, marrying up in so many regards, but like the Mark and Taylor gifts are going to increase, or like gifts from just not Mark, but Mark and Taylor now are going to increase in quality significantly. She's just so good at it. And it's definitely something that I've had to grow into because I was, wait, actually, I just thought of a funny story in terms of gift giving. But I feel like I'm all over the place and I don't want to take up space with all this stuff.
I want to hear this funny story now. You can't just
all
start
right.
a sentence like that
Right.
and then
So,
not go into it.
Okay. So for Taylor and McKenna is Taylor's twin.
Yeah.
At this point, she's like a big sister to me. It's amazing. I love it.
That's awesome.
But I think for the very first birthday I knew them, which would have been them turning 17 or 16, somewhere around there. Yeah, 17 or 16 or 17. I don't think it was 16. I think it was 17. Sorry, I get sidetracked. I was like, Mom, I need to buy them birthday presents. So she's like, okay, let me help you out. So we went shopping, walked into like 5 different stores. I was like, I have no clue what to get them. And like, if you think I'm bad now at gift giving, imagine like negative. Like this was Mark who didn't even know how to dress himself. So like imagine this Mark was like, yeah, you know what? We're going to give some gifts. We're going to do a good job. I was just helpless. So Mom and I settled on scarves, which is, pretty safe bet. They have a January birthday. So like, it fits the weather kind of. And like back then they were both more into wearing scarves. So I got McKenna like a wool green infinity scarf, like, pretty thick,
Nice.
Classy, very cute, that kind of thing. It like from then on, McKenna wore it quite often. I got McKenna. I got Taylor this like thin orange, like a fabric. I'm trying to explain. It was super thin, like air could get through. I don't know what the name of that is, but like, and then it was just like it wasn't infinity, so it would just hang, and it was just like it kind of looked like a safari, like coloring, that kind of thing, coloring design. Could not have been more off base with it, and I gave it to both of them, and like I've never seen her wear it, and I don't think she ever wore it after that moment. So it's just like awkward. I actually kind of knocked it out of the park with McKenna's, but with Taylor just totally sank. And particularly with Taylor, it was like one of her top love languages, and I just completely flopped.
How interested were you in her romantically at that point?
I mean, I was like, this girl's freaking beautiful, but like completely out of my league. So that's where I was at. I was just like, she's gorgeous. Mark's a dweeb. I don't have a chance in the slightest, but she like wants to have me in her life as a friend, which is crazy bizarre to me, but like, cool. I'll try to bring her a gift. So wild.
Perfect.
Sorry. That was a
No, I
tangent.
like that. Hey, it's a 50-50 in that sense.
I have a thought. I personally, I think that even though physical touch is my favorite, when if done wrong, if done by the wrong person, it is the most offensive thing to me.
Yeah.
It is like, I mean, you guys have seen it when like when one of you touches me and I don't know it's you or something like that. I almost pop someone in the mouth, or like when I wake up in the morning. Like you guys have seen me when I wake up after a nap. Someone has to wake me up and I jump up like I'm about to like deck someone. Like I don't. There are certain not
Aiden
chapters,
tries to spoon John awake.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was nice.
Thank you.
That was comforting.
I was gonna be
I was
hurt
like,
if you said anything else.
no, I know, I love that. But but so with that being said, there is something so special about someone getting me a gift that they just when they nail it. You know what I'm saying? Like they just really know you, and it's a tiny thing, but it's like, hey, I know you've been talking about this. I know you want this. I know this is important to you. Like my mom is really good at gift giving, and it means so much to me. And so, I'm open to that. My dad is not good at gift giving. Like my favorite superhero since I was a kid has always been Superman. And then for like my 17th birthday, he got me a Batman watch. I was, Dad, you're just not good at this.
Swing and a miss. Swing and a
Yeah,
miss.
and so anyway, I mean, most of the time I'm like, I don't want anything. But if someone really gives you something that's like special, it shoots itself up there. You know what I'm saying? Like it really still hits home. So
yeah, for sure.
I think for especially with gifts, I think it's quality over quantity.
Nice.
Or like, you know what I'm
sense.
saying? I don't know if you guys can relate.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with that. It's hard to fully explain, but I always am grateful for a gift, even if it's not something that I want. But that's not always easy to communicate. That's not like what I always feel like people want when they give me a gift. It's like, oh yeah, this is great. Like this isn't what I wanted, but I'm grateful that you thought of me. I'm grateful that you put the love and the affection into it. Like I'm grateful for it. I'll use it. I'll do those things. But it's like that's where it's like the battle in me of like, what? So
Yeah.
I've had to communicate that in love to many people of like, yeah, I love and appreciate you. That's what comes across. That's what is most important in this. So I don't know.
It's the ultimate like opening a Christmas gift and it's socks.
Yeah.
And you have to act stoked.
But
I actually really enjoy socks.
I like socks too. I'm like, no, let's freaking go. No more holes in my socks.
Yeah. I've definitely come into that in my life where I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely want socks. I'll take a shirt. Yeah, I'll take some clothes. This is great.
What do you my giving though is very different. Like I'm really good. Okay, I almost said it. Physical touch is still up there when it comes to giving.
Okay.
But it's not quantity. I'm not quantity with that. So it's lower.
Sure.
I'm really good with words of affirmation and acts of service, actually.
For sure.
And those things don't mean as much to me when someone does something like that. Because acts of service feels like, if I get that same reaction, like, did I want that? Did I not? How do I show you that I appreciated this? It feels weird. But yeah, when it comes to giving, I very easily go to words of affirmation. And
yeah.
What about you guys?
In terms of giving, I think I definitely lean towards acts of service, almost to a fault, and also quality time. I think those are the two that I feel good at. But obviously, I think the thing that I keep running into is like what I view as quality time could be different from somebody else, and so I'm not necessarily good at giving quality time to that if it's not what they see as quality time, and that's kind of a conflict. But other than that, I feel good about acts of service too.
Yeah, I say like a good indicator that you're good at giving quality time is like for like I might even change mine because I'm thinking about it, and I tend to be the one that reaches out to people like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's hang out. Let's just do something. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? Like, and that doesn't scare me. That's just like something I want to give to someone because I like it too.
Yeah.
I feel like that is a, it's not necessarily like, hey, let's go do something super freaking special. So it's like I just want to see you in person. That's it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's great. Mark, what about you?
Sorry, I'm going through like my own little momentary mental boom because I'm like, all of the like, it's just so like love language is such a complex thing, and I appreciate John actually laying it out at the beginning because I did not segue it well, but like explaining what the love languages were, and also Aiden adding the caveat that there's the giving love language and the receiving love language, and they change over time. So I'm having the little perfectionist of me be like, but I don't know if that was accurate, Mark. Like, is it actually quality time or not? So I'm second guessing everything. So I'm just gonna like quiet it all down.
Quiet it all down. Take the stick out of your butt and
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
please take the stick out of your butt.
rewrite the
Get-
song,
Remember
John.
the
Sing
song?
it about
The song.
Mark. Sing it about Mark.
Your butthole, Aiden.
No, you got to change it to Mark.
No, it's he already has his up his butt. It's got to go up your butt now. So it's not up Mark's butt.
Come on.
So I'll circle around.
We had to switch meetings. That's why we just jump cut right now, just so you all know. Yeah, go for it, Mark.
It's
So
janky.
to get us to get myself back on track, at least you guys are
Thank
doing
you.
great stuff. I love everything you have to say.
Give yourself more credit, dude.
Yeah,
Well,
please.
thank you. Well, thank you.
Gosh.
I'm curious if there are ways that the boys could meet your love language, but don't.
Mm.
Like moment of self-reflection for the boys and that kind of thing. Personally, I think it's great. I love I think with the boys it's actually more physical touch. More words of affirmation. Like that's the top way that I think the boys support me.
Yeah.
Particularly because we have the ways that we talk about like the way that life affects us and the way that we even, it's through the format of tilting in the game. But yeah, like I think just that sense of knowing that you always have my back and that you're always encouraging me. And I think particularly because you see pieces of me that I don't even see in myself, but you see them. I really appreciate that echo.
Yeah. John, what about you?
I'm thinking. I think. So wait, what was the question again? You got a little bit.
How do the boys
meet your love languages?
Yeah, perfect.
Could they do something better? Or is it like, nah, they do it great?
Because I think it's different like we were talking about with the relationships. I think it's different with the boys. I think words of affirmation is so important to me when it comes to the boys. Like just hearing like, John, we love you. You're part of our group. All that stuff that I've expressed to you guys that I like. I need that kind of encouragement.
For sure.
I think with the boys, for me, it's so meaningful to me when you guys like individually or as a group reach out to me and you're like, hey, I just want to check in on you. Hey, I want to let me talk to you. Let's spend time. Let's go grab a beer. Let's go get froyo, whatever. Like that is so important to me. So when you guys do that, it's so meaningful. And it's hard with COVID right now, but I think yeah, I like the being reached out to, I wouldn't mind more. I definitely wouldn't mind more. Because, yeah, especially in this season, I think we can all relate that, we get a little stuck in our caves, our mental caves. Aiden was talking about a little, pain cave when you go running, and you put yourself in this cave, and just, the pain just kind of goes around you, and you just stick yourself in this little mental cave. And I think during this, I'm doing a pain cave in terms of my mental. You know what I'm saying? So and even when we're not in COVID, I tend to do that. So when someone's like, "Hey, John, come out of your cave and hang out with me for a second," that is huge. Especially with the boys. So that's me.
Aiden?
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting.
It's also a little on the spot. It
I know.
hit me, and we can circle back around next week. But
Yeah, I think even just in my own life, or in other areas of my life, I should say, I'm trying to figure out what my love languages are in general, because like I said, things are shifting and I don't know why they're shifting as much. And so I think in relation to the guys, I always appreciate and feel seen by words of affirmation. And more in the sense of like just saying, hey, I see you, or like, I hear you. Those are huge things for me, because it just affirms even my thought, or even my, like, if I'll contribute something, it's nice to hear like, that's great, or I like that perspective, even if you don't agree with it or something like that. It's always great, you know. I think that's where, and I think the guys do a great job of that. And so that's what I appreciate the most.
You can be honest if you would want more, though. Like,
I mean, hey, I'll always take more.
Yeah. No, yeah, I definitely think, like, and I see it in league. Like, I can tell how much you appreciate it when we're like, good call, or like, yeah, let's do that later. Like, I hear you, like, good move there with you. And I feel like we kind of, especially when we get super laser focused, we kind of forget to do that. So I can see where, like,
everybody, we all do. I do.
Better. Well, yeah, but it's important to you, and I'd wanna push into that. So I can see where I could be doing better with that for you.
This is cool.
a little moment of self-reflection for you on this COVID Monday.
Yeah. I mean, I would even like challenge the audience, like, do this with your best friends right now. Like, call your friend, ask them their 2 top love languages, tell them yours, and figure out a way that you guys can do something. I mean, if you're a physical touch like me, you're boned, but like, or, you know,
not
just
You're actually not boned.
Too soon.
I'll be right back. I gotta go cry. I'm gonna go cry in my room.
No, but I totally agree with you, John. Keep going.
Yeah, dude. Especially in the season, I think, like, hearing Aiden say that and hearing Mark say all this stuff, like, I'm seeing, like, okay, this is where in this chapter we're all like buckling down. It's really about like picking what's the most important and really pushing into that. And so, I mean, you know, if you can do that now, you're building up a relationship that post-COVID, you're going to be, you know, more connected, more relational, more stoked to see each other and capable of giving to each other. But like, I think that's I would challenge the audience to, give that a try. Maybe send in some emails. I'd love to hear how that goes for you, you know?
Same. That's great.
Yeah. If you're cool, I'm going to put a wrap on this, boys.
Please.
Ready?
Yeah, I have a business meeting to get to, so it's perfect.
Nice.
John's a real responsible adult.
Finally. Just kidding. He didn't even
Fight
react,
him.
dude.
Fight him. Fight him. Fight him.
So,
up your butthole, Mark.
Yeah.
Up your butthole,
This is the sequel I wanted.
Up your butthole, Mark. You're a monkey man.
lovely.
Yes.
So to follow that up, that piece of work, to our audience, yes, if you haven't heard of the love languages or you've never actually taken the test yourself, recommend looking it up. Just literally Google love languages test. It'll tell you about the 5 of them. Talk about that. It's super helpful to think about both in the way that you relate to other people, but also how people relate to you. We're not nobody is mind readers, and nobody can tell how other people want to be loved, and so it's really important that you communicate it to people. So definitely recommend checking that out. Definitely recommend using it as a tool to connect with other people, particularly now where intentionality is so much more important than usual, because you can't just like kind of run into people. Sorry, that's a timer. Or you can't just kind of run into people. You have to really make it happen intentionally. So write into us. Our email is justjanky3@gmail.com. That's the number 3, justjanky3@gmail.com. We're the 3rd Just Janky. No, just kidding. It's that there's 3 of us, and I was being dumb when I made the count. Again, we're the Just Janky Podcast. We're a trio of dudes that get together, take life not too seriously. but have a good time being intentional with each other. So write into us. Let us know how we did. And if you want to watch Avatar with us.
Yeah, please.
Sounds like
it's on Netflix now. Watch it. We're going to talk about it next week.
Yeah, but write into us. Tell us about your love languages. We'll touch it on that a little bit next week. All right, everyone. Have a good week. See you next Monday.
Bye.
Welcome to Just Janky. Welcome to Just Janky.